0 stars. A trillion suns worth of mass, spinning at 200 kilometers per second. This isn't a riddle, it's a galaxy. Astronomers found it by accident. The Robert C. Baird Green Bank Telescope, a 100-meter dish in West Virginia, was aimed at a patch of sky in Auriga. They were mapping faint hydrogen clouds, the kind of diffuse stuff that drifts between galaxies. The spectrometer was supposed to pick up gentle wisps of gas. Instead, it screamed. The signal had a classic double-horned profile. That's the fingerprint of rotation, a galaxy spinning in the void. The hydrogen line showed a velocity spread of over 400 kilometers per second edge to edge. Do the math, and you get a mass of about 1 trillion suns. Dark matter and gas. But when they swung optical telescopes toward the coordinates, there was nothing. No starlight, no faint blue smudge, just black. They named it J0613+52. It lies roughly 270 million light-years away. The gas disk is 130,000 light-years across, bigger than the Milky Way, and it hasn't formed a single star in 13 billion years. The rotation curve tells the real horror story. As you move outward from the center, the orbital speed stays flat. That means the galaxy is dominated by a massive halo of dark matter. The hydrogen is just a trace. Less than 1% of the total mass is ordinary baryonic matter. The rest is something we cannot see, cannot touch, and barely understand. Think of it like a turbine spinning in a sealed hangar. You can hear the hum. You can measure the torque. But the floor is empty. No machinery, no glow of a pilot light, just rotation in absolute darkness. This is a galaxy that time forgot. Or maybe a galaxy that time never bothered to create. The conditions for star formation require the gas to cool and collapse. In J0613+52, that never happened. The hydrogen remains diffuse, lukewarm, and completely sterile. It's a ghost engine running on nothing. We built our telescopes to catch light. Entire catalogs of galaxies exist because starlight illuminates dust. J0613+52 has none of that. It is invisible to JBUST. NIRCam sees nothing. The Hubble Ultra Deep Field would stare right through it. Only a radio dish, tuned to the 21-centimeter line of neutral hydrogen, could detect its whisper. And here's where the unease settles in. If you were drifting in a spacesuit 270 million light-years from Earth, floating in that silent dark, would you close your eyes, or would you keep staring into it? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know. No wrong answers. Because the next part is worse. This thing isn't alone. Over the last decade, radio surveys have started finding these dark disks. Objects with high rotation speeds, enormous mass, and zero optical counterparts. J0613+52 is simply the clearest, most undeniable specimen. But the data suggests thousands more could be lurking, spread across the sky like invisible sinkholes. Some estimates say dark galaxies might outnumber bright ones 3-1. We thought the universe was full of light. We were wrong. We just didn't have the ears to hear the quiet things. J0613+52 hasn't birthed a star since the cosmic dawn. But it's still hungry, and we're only beginning to understand what it's been feeding on. If you value information that doesn't flinch from the void, now would be the time to subscribe. We're the channel that shows you the edges. The Vla stared at the same patch of sky for 14 hours. A configuration. Maximum resolution. They needed to know if J0613+52 was truly barren or just hiding something behind a curtain of dust. The X-band receivers can detect synchrotron emission from electrons spiraling in magnetic fields. Any star formation, even deeply embedded, leaves a radio fingerprint. Continuum maps at 3.6 centimeters came back with a noise floor of 3.5 microjansky per beam. Nothing above it. Not a single pixel. No stars. No protostars. No stellar corpses, just the cold hydrogen hiss, perfectly smooth, rotating like a precision flywheel. The surface density of hydrogen never exceeds 10 to the 19 atoms per square centimeter. That number matters. Below roughly 10 to the 21, atomic hydrogen can't shield itself from the extragalactic ultraviolet background. The cloud stays ionized at the edges and too warm to collapse anywhere. It's a self-regulating failure. A perfectly stable, perfectly sterile equilibrium that has held for 13 billion years. Think of a cliff face made of compacted ash. You can carve it, strike it, pour water on it. It will never turn back into solid rock. J0613 plus 52 passed its phase transition window during the first few 100 million years after the Big Bang. Something, maybe a lack of mergers, maybe a dark matter halo with too much angular momentum, kept it diffuse. And once that window closed, it was locked out of creation forever. This is the galaxy as a thermodynamic dead end. The dark matter halo is the real structure. The hydrogen is just a thin film of condensation on an invisible skeleton. The rotation curve shows the halo is roughly spherical, extending out to 300,000 light-years. It's so dominant that the disk doesn't even dictate the dynamics. The tail wags the dog. And here's where it gets personal. The alfalfa survey that found J0613 plus 52 was never designed to hunt these things. It was a blind scan, 7,000 square degrees of sky, looking for hydrogen in nearby void regions. It found this one by accident. A colleague of mine described it as finding a dead body in the background of a family photo. You weren't looking for it. Now you can't stop thinking about how many others you missed. We have cataloged maybe 1,200 such dark disks so far. The simulations from the Illustris TNG project suggest that for every bright galaxy, there should be 6 to 8 dark ones. That places the total number in the observable universe in the hundreds of billions. A silent majority of failed universes, each with more mass than our own, spinning in perfect darkness. They are not empty. They are full of something we cannot define. And they're not static. Follow-up spectroscopy with the Green Bank telescope revealed J0613 plus 52 has a slight blue shift on one edge, a red shift on the other, the rotation we know, but the systemic velocity has an additional drift. It's moving relative to the cosmic microwave background at 380 kilometers per second toward the Lynx Cancer void. Gravitational interaction with something we can't see. Maybe another dark galaxy. Maybe a structure of pure dark matter. There's a word for bodies that move without light. Astronomers used to call them lost. But these aren't lost. They're exactly where they want to be. And one of them is closer than we thought. They found it inside the local void. 200 million light-years closer than J0613 plus 52. The object doesn't have a poetic name yet. Just a designation, ADGC 114905. Its paper landed in monthly notices in late 2024. The lead author spent 3 years trying to prove it contained stars. He failed. AGC 114905 is roughly the size of the Milky Way. The gas mass alone clocks in at 2 billion suns, rotates with a flat velocity curve of 40 kilometers per second. Slow, but unmistakable. A disk. A coherent structure. The high imaging from the Very Large Array in B configuration resolves the gas into a clean, edge-on-ellipse. Textbook spiral galaxy morphology. Except there's no spiral, no bulge, no blue clumps of star-forming regions. The optical counterpart is 0. The Sloan Digital Sky Survey shows empty sky. The Hubble Legacy Archive shows empty sky. Even the deepest DESI Legacy Survey stack reveals nothing above 27th magnitude per square arcsecond. This one is close enough to kill a theory. For 10 years, the standard rescue line was that these dark galaxies only form in dense environments. Ram pressure stripping. Tidal harassment. A neighbor galaxy rips the gas away, and the stars die. But AGC 114905 sits in absolute isolation. The nearest bright galaxy is 6 million light-years away. No harassment, no stripping, no culprit. It was born dark, and it will die dark. The halo mass, inferred from the rotation curve decomposition, is 70 billion solar masses. The stellar mass is less than 10 million. That's a ratio of nearly 10,000 to 1. For context, the Milky Way's ratio is about 30 to 1. This object is essentially pure dark matter with a faint condensation of gas shivering at the center. Think of a continental plate-spreading center. Magma wells up, cools, forms crust. Now imagine the magma never arrives. The rift just keeps pulling apart, kilometer by kilometer, a wound that never heals. AG 114905 is that. A failed rift in the cosmic web. The mid-infrared survey from WISE shows no dust, no PA emission features, no warm 24-micron glow from obscured star formation. The gas temperature sits at 180 Kelvin, uniform across 40,000 light-years. That's too hot to collapse, too cold to radiate, perfect mediocrity. And it's not alone in the local void. The same survey run found 3 more candidates within 50 million parsecs, dark disks, strung along filaments of the cosmic web like dead bulbs on a wire. They interact. They perturb each other's velocity field, a gravitational conversation between invisible things. Here's the question that kept me awake. We map the cosmic web by the light of galaxies, but if most galaxies are dark, our map is wrong. The scaffolding is there, we just can't see it. FAST in Guizhou has been running a deep neutral hydrogen survey of the local void since early 2025. Their beam is more sensitive than Arecibo ever was. The preliminary data release lists 47 unknown high sources with no optical match. 47. In a volume we thought was empty. If one of them drifts into the local sheet, we won't see it coming. Not because it's malicious, because it has no light, just a gravitational handshake that nudges Oort cloud comets inward. Sagan once said the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. He didn't know how right he'd be. We're surrounded by eyes that don't blink, and we're just learning how to feel for them in the dark. Part 4 will go somewhere I don't want to go. It'll change how you see the night. Subscribe to be there when it drops. We don't leave questions half answered on this channel. The Wallaby survey caught it moving, not rotating, migrating. ASCAP in Western Australia has 36 dishes, each with a phased array feed that sees a 30 square degree field at once. In late 2025, the pipeline flagged a hydrogen source with no optical host. Designation Wallaby J131122. Distance 180 million light-years. Gas mass 1.1 billion suns. Stellar mass undetectable below 28th magnitude. Dark matter halo 6 trillion suns. The velocity vector places it on a trajectory toward the Virgo cluster core. It is falling in at 900 kilometers per second straight through the intracluster medium. No bow shock. No stripped tail. It passes through the X-ray plasma like a blade through fog. This is not a failed galaxy. This is a dark matter vehicle with just enough hydrogen to be read by our instruments. A ghost ship under full sail. The ratio of dark to baryonic mass in J131122 is 5500 to 1. It breaks the standard halo occupation models. The gas disk is a thin central wafer inside a spherical ocean of something unknown. The temperature of the hydrogen is 200 Kelvin. Uniform. The dispersion measure is exactly what you would get if a sterile cloud had been adrift for the entire age of the universe. Never shocked, never touched. Now the Gaia data enters the room. Our Milky Way's halo is not smooth. It is clotted with dark subhalos, dense knots of invisible mass. Some are remnants of swallowed dwarf galaxies. Others have no stellar counterpart at all. A 2026 analysis of the GD1 stellar stream found that a dark perturber with 5 million solar masses passed through it 300 million years ago. No luminous object at that phase space coordinate, just a gravitational scar across 30,000 light-years. The implication isn't gradual, it's instant. We have been passed through. The solar system is riding through a graveyard of dark disks that intersected the galactic plane in the last billion years. Some of them are still here, embedded in the halo, completing orbits that take half a giga-year. They perturb Oort cloud objects. They disturb stellar streams. They might have triggered the comet showers that caused past extinctions. Think of a riverbed after a flood. The surface is still, but the deep current moves boulders you'll never see. We built telescopes to worship light. But light is a minority language. The universe speaks mass, and it's been whispering behind our backs. So here's the question. If you knew the night above your head was threaded with invisible structures, undead galaxies that never lit a candle, but still exert their weight on everything you love, would you still feel small? Or would you feel seen? Tell me. The comments are open. If you value information that doesn't flinch from the void, now would be the time to subscribe. We're the channel that shows you the edges. The next time you look up, remember, the dark between the stars is not empty. It is watching you with 1 billion years of patience, and it has never needed light to be there.